Making headlines this hour, President Dr. Muiz and First Lady Sajida Mohammed participates in the official flag hoisting ceremony held to commemorate the 60th anniversary of Maldives' independence. President Dr. Mohammed Muiz shares a heartfelt message with the Maldivian people as the nation marks its 60th Independence Day with formal ceremonies and public celebrations. And President Dr. Mohammed Muiz affirms the enduring strength of Maldives-India relations, stating that historic bond between both nations cannot be weakened. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Idham Naim. Before looking into news in detail, I would like to wish all our viewers a very happy Independence Day. Now looking into news in detail, President Dr. Mohammed Muiz and First Lady Sajida Mohammed participates in the official flag hoisting ceremony held early today to commemorate the 60th anniversary of Maldives' independence. The event was held at the Republic Square at 6 a.m. The President and First Lady were joined by Vice President Hussein Mohammad Latif and other senior government officials. Upon their arrival at the Republic Square, President Muiz and First Lady Sajida were greeted by the Minister of Defense, Mohammad Ghassan Maumoon, and the Minister of Divahi Language, Culture and Heritage, Adam Nasir Ibrahim. The flag hoisting was conducted with full military honor. Following the flag hoisting, a special prayer was recited as part of the ceremony. The ceremony was then concluded with the national anthem performed by the Maldives National Defense Forces military band. The Maldives celebrates its Independence Day each year on 26th July. President Dr. Mohammed Muiz shares a heartfelt message with the Maldivian people as the nation marks its 60th Independence Day with formal ceremonies and public celebrations. The day commenced with a flag hoisting ceremony in Male, where the President greeted attendees as part of the official proceedings. The President's address issued via social media conveyed warm wishes to the Maldivian people and underscored the occasion's historical weight. President Dr. Mohammed Muiz affirms the enduring strength of Maldives-India relations, stating that the historic bond between both nations cannot be weakened. The President made the remarks at a state banquet hosted by himself and First Lady Sajida Mohammed in honor of Indian Prime Minister Modi, who is currently undertaking a two-day state visit to the Maldives at the President's invitation. The President in his speech said that while this year marks the 60th anniversary of the establishment of official diplomatic relations between the Maldives and India, the relationship dates back centuries. He noted, while history bears witness to this, that both countries have deep-rooted ties through trade and other cultural activities since long before official diplomatic relations were established. The President emphasized that India has always been an important partner in the Maldives' development journey and noted that the relationship is strengthening, particularly in the field of security, health, trade, and education. He expressed confidence that India can play an important role in building a sustainable, inclusive, and youth-driven economy in the Maldives. The President in his speech also acknowledged Prime Minister Modi as the second longest-serving Prime Minister in India's history, describing it as a reflection of his dedication to national service. Reaffirming the Maldives' commitment to nurturing the special relationship between both nations, President Dr. Muiz conveyed his hopes for future, expressing his wish for a flourishing Maldives-India partnership that brings lasting peace and prosperity to both nations. Prime Minister Modi's state visit coincides with the 60th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between the two neighboring nations. The banquet was attended by members of the visiting Indian delegation and senior officials of the government of the Maldives. President Dr. Mohammed Muiz and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates the new 10-story building of the Ministry of Defense, the Shimena building. The building was inaugurated as part of Prime Minister Modi's ongoing state visit to the Maldives. Following the inauguration, the two leaders viewed a model of the building and learned about its functions and services. The building was developed with the assistance of the Indian government. Construction of the building began on 19th February 2014. The facility will primarily house the Coast Guard Division of the Defense Ministry. The Maldives Coast Guard was established 45 years ago and is responsible for maintaining and safeguarding the maritime and aerial territory of the Maldives. Its responsibilities include protecting the Maldives Special Economic Zone, conducting search and rescue missions, and responding to maritime emergencies. The Armed Forces Act and other laws of the Maldives entrust the Coast Guard with the role of a conventional navy responsible for maritime civil defense and maritime security in the Indian Ocean. The Coast Guard plans and conducts sea and air operations through 4 regional operational commands, each with its own subordinate squadrons. A Maritime Rescue Coordination Center has also been established to provide search and rescue services during dangerous incidents in Maldivian waters and international waters. The Coast Guard is also involved in the emergency transportation of patients from one island to another. A special force called the Special Boat Squadron has been formed to conduct specialized maritime operations. India delivers 2 advanced portable hospital units to the Maldives, marking a significant enhancement of the island nation's emergency medical response capacity and reaffirming New Delhi's commitment to regional health cooperation. The handover coincided with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 2-day state visit undertaken at the invitation of President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu. The Indian leader's arrival in Malé on Friday morning drew focus to the evolving Indo-Maldives partnership, with public health infrastructure emerging as a key area of engagement. Referred to as Arogya Maitri Health Cubes, the modular platforms are regarded as the world's first fully transportable hospitals. Each unit includes an intensive care unit, operation theatre, blood diagnostic equipment, X-ray machine, and a power generator configured to provide critical care up to 200 individuals over a 72-hour period. Engineered for maximum mobility, the systems can be deployed by helicopter or parachute to remote with NPCI International Payments Limited of India, under which the MMA will pursue integration of the Maldives National Instant Payment System, known as FAWARA, with India's Unified Payments Interface. In a statement, MMA said the collaboration is designed to simplify cross-border financial exchanges and improve transactional ease for citizens of both nations. Driving this effort forward are plans to establish a new company, Payment Maldives, charged with implementing a nationally and internationally recognized payment framework. The entity will coordinate institutional modernization and deploy technology-driven services. The central bank highlighted the success of similar operational models in other jurisdictions and confirmed that revisions to the country's legal framework are underway to support the transition. Deployment of FAWARA's integration with UPI, according to the central bank, is scheduled to occur in 2 phases. The first, slated for 2026, will allow users in the Maldives and India to conduct real-time peer-to-peer money transfers. The second phase will introduce QR code functionality to facilitate business transactions. Both phases are structured to support the use of domestic currencies with the aim of ensuring frictionless interoperability between systems. As part of these modernization efforts, the MMA is also developing a national QR code standard to unify formats used by the banks and payment service providers. The measure is expected to strengthen FAWARA adoption and further streamline international transactions. MMA officials said they anticipate that the initiative will not only simplify financial activity for customers and enterprises, but also advance broader economic objectives, chief among them expanding financial inclusion and reducing cash dependence across the Maldivian economy. The Bank of Maldives (BML) introduces Indian rupee accounts for the first time in a move that reflects expanding trade and financial cooperation between the Maldives and India. Beginning 1st August 2025, individuals, businesses, and expatriates will be able to open Indian rupee accounts through BML's internet and mobile banking platforms. Mohammad Sharif, Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of BML, hailed the initiative as a strategic advancement. He affirmed the bank's commitment to serving the evolving needs of both personal and corporate clients, highlighting its role in elevating national banking standards. That commitment is reflected in the bank's broader efforts to integrate with India's RuPay card network. In October 2024, BML enabled acceptance of RuPay international cards across its ATM and POS infrastructure. It is now working with the National Payment Corporation of India to support domestic RuPay cards and begin issuing RuPay cards to customers with Indian rupees accounts. Full implementation is expected by year-end. With this development, Indian rupee account holders, both individuals and institutional, will gain the ability to conduct cross-border transactions in Indian rupees following Indian rupees denominated payments to be made globally. The operational framework for the new accounts includes deposit thresholds beginning at 500 Indian rupees at BML branches. Customers will also benefit from streamlined fund flows, including direct inward remittances from India and outbound transfers from the Maldives. Supporting this service is BML's extensive national infrastructure, 40 branches across 28 atolls, 133 self-service banking centers, 188 ATMs, a country-wide agent banking network, and robust digital platforms. The bank continues to expand its digital capabilities and strategic collaborations to meet evolving customers' expectations. The S&P 500 and Nasdaq notches record high closes. Lifted by optimism, the US could soon reach a trade deal with the European Union, while Decker's outdoor surged following a strong quarter for the maker of Ugg boots and Hoka sneakers. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen will meet US President Donald Trump in Scotland after EU officials and diplomats said they expected to reach a framework trade deal this weekend. Decker's outdoor soared after results beat quarterly estimates with a strong demand in international markets. Intel tumbled after the chipmaker forecast steeper quarterly losses than expected and announced plans to slash jobs.
Today it's hard to say. There's not a clear indicator of market movement, but I think looking out the next week being a huge week, we have many of the Mag 7 reporting, we have a Fed meeting, we have PCE inflation data. So a whole slew of market moving news coming next week. And I think a lot of optimism with earnings, a lot of optimism that the Fed is getting closer to cutting rates, and excitement around potentially more trade deals as the deadline of next week of August 1.
Wall Street has surged to record highs in recent weeks thanks to upbeat quarterly earnings, trade deals with Japan and the Philippines, and expectations with the White House will cement more agreements to avoid elevated tariffs threatened by Trump. The S&P 500 gained 25.29 points to end at 6,388.64 points, while the Nasdaq Composite gained 50.36 points to 21,108.32. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 208.01 points to 44,901.92. US President Donald Trump arrives in Scotland for some golf and talks that could yield a trade deal with the European Union. Donald Trump told reporters that he will visit his golf resort in Turnberry on Scotland's west coast, where he will meet British Prime Minister Keir Starmer before the two of them head to his sprawling golf property 200 miles away near Aberdeen in the east. As part of the visit, Trump will open a second 18-hole course on the Aberdeen property named in honor of his mother, who was born and raised on a Scottish island before immigrating to America. As he left the White House, Trump told reporters that he looked forward to meeting both Starmer and Scottish leader John Sweeney, who had publicly backed Democratic candidates Kamala Harris in the 2024 U.S. presidential election. Trump said he and Starmer would discuss the U.S.-British trade deal and perhaps even improve it, but gave no detail. He said Washington was also working hard on a possible trade deal with the European Union, which he said was very keen to make a deal. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said later she would meet Trump in Scotland over the weekend. EU diplomat says a deal could result in a broad 15% tariff on EU goods, mirroring a framework agreement with Japan and half of the 30% Trump is threatening to impose by August 1st. Argentine midfielder Rodrigo de Paul leaves Atletico Madrid and joins Major League Soccer side Inter Miami. De Paul will join his compatriot and a friend Lionel Messi, with whom he has won 2 Copa America titles, a Finalissima and a 2022 World Cup. The 31-year-old made nearly 200 appearances in 4 seasons under fellow Argentine coach Diego Simón, but leaves the Spanish capital without silverware. The transfer to Inter Miami marks a move away from the European elite football to the Major League Soccer, a league that, while growing, is still considered less competitive compared to major European competitions. The opportunity to play alongside Messi and the appeal of the Miami project were decisive in his decision. De Paul made his debut for Argentine club Racing Club in 2012 and has also played for Valencia and Serie A side Udinese. Cameras inside an enclosure at Chester Zoo in northwest England captures the first glimpse of a rare snow leopard cub, the first of its kind, born at the facility in its 94-year history. Video footage released by the zoo showed the cute cub taking its first steps inside the enclosure, with its mother, 3-year-old Nubra, keeping a close watch on her newborn. Snow leopards have been classified as vulnerable by the International Union for Conservation of Nature. There are estimated to be 4,080 to 6,590 snow leopards remaining alive in the wild. Their habitats span across 12 countries in Central Asia's highest mountain. According to the Chester Zoo, the cub was born on June 10th to first-time parents Nubra and Yashin, also 3 who were carefully paired in 2024 as part of an international conservation breeding program. That concludes news for now. Thank you for watching PSM News. Have a good day.
Minimum